Adequate notice of this meeting of the Mayor and Council was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Co-Star, our official newspapers, and was posted on the bulletin board and the municipal website. Take roll call. Councilwoman Donovan?
Here.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Here.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Here.
Councilman de Blasio?
Here.
Councilman Maroney?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops, their families, and our first responders. Okay, thank you. First item is the workshop discussion. Any discussions from the council?
Actually, if you don't mind, Mayor, there is one thing I wanted to address. I want to say, I know there's been an understandable public concern about reports over discrepancies within the tax collector's office. I've spoken with our auditor who's reviewing the situation. At this point, it does not seem like Belmar is missing money. Our tax collection rates have been consistent, and so far he hasn't seen any evidence of fiscal impropriety. We all view this matter seriously, and we will report back to the public any updates we can as soon as we can. And that's what
I have, for people who like numbers, the checks that were Belmar checks totaled $30,944.71, and it was a total of 8 checks. 4 of those checks, those have been resolved. The checks were either voided or new checks were issued for the ones that were found in the box. So that came to $21,380.04, meaning there are 4 checks that are still being looked into for $9,564.67. So that is that's the full story as we have it right now. We're having trouble actually we know who needs to be contacted, but it's difficult to contact them because we don't have a good number or they're not responding to texts or emails. So they'll keep trying to do that so we can verify whether or not those checks were actually deposited or not deposited or replaced. Okay, so that's the update on the checks.
Thank you.
And just, I know there's a lot of concern over the new staff appointments going forward. And I just want to say we have been working collectively together to fill those appointments and to find really good people to fill them. And it's been taking up a lot of time, but it's a task that we are committed to doing, and we're looking forward to presenting you with the people who will lead Belmar forward.
And I'd just like to add to that, for anybody who unfortunately goes onto social media, you need to realize that most of the stuff you read is not true. All right? The borough is not falling apart. There are no financial problems. There are no checks laying all over, people's desks, and we're not running amok here. So everything's proceeding orderly as well as it can, and I just want to reassure the public that that's the way it is. And unfortunately, some people just like to kind of stir the pot. So no worries, everything's going to work out fine. Any other workshop issues? If not,
Actually,
go ahead.
one other thing, Mayor. We actually do have a proclamation.
We have a proclamation for the mayor for his outgoing
Oh, thank you so much.
year today, so I'd like to read this proclamation for the mayor today. Sorry.
Looks long. Gee.
Thank you, April. Proclamation in honor and recognition of Gerald A. Jerry Buckafusco, Mayor of Belmar, January 1st through January 1st, 2023, June 30th, 2026. Whereas Gerald A. Buckafusco, a devoted resident of the borough of Belmar for over 60 years, has demonstrated throughout his life an abiding love for this community, its residents, and the values that makes Belmar a place of pride along the Jersey Shore. And whereas Jerry Buckafusco was duly elected by the residents of Belmar and sworn into the office of mayor on January 1st, 2023, bringing with him a steadfast commitment to transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. and whereas under Mayor Buckapesco's leadership, the Borough of Belmar successfully achieved compliance with New Jersey's affordable housing mandates, overseeing through due diligent negotiation, inclusion, and affordable units in major development projects, ensuring that housing opportunity remains accessible to all residents, and whereas Mayor Buckapesco directed improvements to Belmar Borough's essential public infrastructure, including the repair and enhancement of roads, sanitary sewer systems, and water lines, safeguarding the health, safety, and quality of life of all residents residents and businesses in the borough. And whereas Mayor Buckapesco enriched the cultural life of Belmar by partnering with Belmar Arts Council to finish their installation project for a community outdoor piano in Piano Plaza, dedicated in honor of E Street Band alumnus David Sanctius and his beloved mother, Stelma Sanctius. And whereas throughout this tenure, Mayor Buckapesco conducted himself with the highest ethical standards, demonstrating unwavering integrity and impartiality in every decision affecting the residents and taxpayers of Belmar. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Borough Councilor in the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, do hereby commend and extend deep gratitude to Mayor Jerry Buckapesco for his exemplary service, tireless dedication, and lasting contributions to the Borough of Belmar. The Borough Council extends its heartfelt best wishes to Mayor Buckapesco, his wife Marlene, and his entire family, and wishes him health, happiness, and fulfillment in the years to come.
Thank you so much. Petitions. Any petitions, April?
I did not receive any petitions.
Approval of minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 9th meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman de Blasio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckapesco?
Yes. Reports of council, Councilwoman Donovan.
Thank you, Mayor. The last Harbor Commission, we discussed different solutions for the floating dock over near front of our Belmar Harbor, which is damaged from the winter. So, and we continue to discuss solutions for long-term parking problems that have plagued the marina. The Environmental Commission, you'll notice that the community energy plan is back on the agenda today. My understanding is that we've had plenty of resident input, and the council has met with the members of the Environmental Commission themselves, and we're very excited about this plan. It is, again, a plan to drive energy efficiencies, cost savings, and greener energy use throughout the borough, and it was developed with support from Sustainable Energy, along with a lot of help and input from our borough leaders like DPW, police, fire, borough, and rec. So thank you to everyone for all your work for that plan. At the last Environmental Commission meeting too, we had a joint meeting with Shade Tree, where we took our first step actually towards an official plan for McCleary Park in the River Road neighborhood by forming a McCleary Park subcommittee during the meeting. This subcommittee will look at short and long-term initiatives to improve the area with an emphasis on its natural beauty, the environmental sustainability, and recreational enjoyment for residents and visitors alike. So I look forward to updating you further on that. That's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilperson Kinney.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation and Dempsey Park basketball courts are completed, the lights are finished, and bleachers will be installed soon. So that was all by grant money that we were able to receive. So that is coming to close, which is great. Tommy D and the Deep Blue Sea will be performing this Friday, weather permitting. And camp actually started yesterday, and junior guards will be starting this coming up Monday, the 29th. The Shade Tree Commission wants to let everyone know that the Main Street and 10th Ave fertilization of all the canopy trees is complete, and phase 2 of the shade tree planting is scheduled for the fall along the rest of Main Street. Shade Tree is also part of the Planning Board Technical Advisory Board. So they help with advising the planning board on tree removal and recommendations for these newer large-scale projects that are coming into town. So they're very much a part of that. On June 10th, we applied for a $25,000 New Jersey Urban Community Forestry Grant, and that's going to support pruning and removal of hazardous trees, so I'll keep you up to date when we hopefully will be awarded that grant. And at the last joint Shade Tree Environmental Commission meeting, we did have Bill Brash, who was our arborist that we secured for this year, to do a presentation on the 5-year plan, tree plan for all of Belmar. So you can see that actually online. I believe that's on the Shade Tree Commission as well. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Councilman de Blasio?
Thank you. On the planning board last week on the 15th, I happened to miss the meeting, but I got a good summary and we'll have a chance to watch it. We are currently reviewing our master plan. Instead of the planning board going through this and doing this alone with the 7 of us or 8 of us, our legal, we actually broke up into commissions. So we're each going to be meeting with some department heads, some other committees, and reporting back to the board to see how the master plan is working for us right now and what changes could be needed for the future. So I think that was a great way for the meeting to be run, and I'm looking forward to those reports. On the Harbor Commission meeting from last week, we did also look into potential gate operation upgrades. So we are still thinking about ways to get a different machine that doesn't require the tokens, whether it be an app or maybe electronic payments even to get the tokens. So hopefully that will improve our boat ramp. The next meeting for the planning board is on July 20th, and I did not write down the Harbor Commission meeting. If you have that one written down, fill it in this time.
I'm electronic nowadays, man.
Okay, let's go to Councilmember Roney.
Thank you, Mayor. The ADA committee met last week. We are all set for the July 14th fair in conjunction with the camp. If there's anybody who's willing to volunteer, there's certainly going to be looking for that, so just you could contact me separately. They have a really nice program. I didn't realize how advanced it was. I've got a whole list of items that they're planning on doing here, so it looks like it's going to be a really nice event. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm going to put on a little presentation kind of summarizing the high points of the last 3 years.
Actually, Mayor, may I make one more announcement? I'm sorry, I forgot to announce next week on the 3rd is Raising Fours and fireworks in Belmar. July 3rd, the fireworks are this year. That's Friday next week. Raising Four is proud to present an unforgettable evening celebrating America and honoring veterans who protected in support of rebuilding warriors. The festivities kick off at 4 p.m. This is over by Taylor Pavilion, and there's going to be a beer garden and food trucks courtesy of McCann's Restaurant from Lake Como. So come early, enjoy great food, cold drinks, and make it a night with your family. The light show begins at 8:45, viewed from the grass across the street from Taylor Pavilion. And then the fireworks will be shortly thereafter when it's at dusk. And the donations, anyone who would like to donate does provide a fully trained service dog to a veteran in need. So please do look out for where you can donate to Raising Four. There is, I think it's on our website. So I'm sorry, that's it.
Okay, I'm going to move down to the table so that I can actually see what the presentation looks like. And I invite everyone to go into the audience. I think it's easier to see than twisting your neck.
Okay.
Are you going to sit here? And it stays on? And at this side. All right, let's see how this is going to work. Yep, that's me. Everybody's reading my emails. Okay. So the mouse works. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going? I don't know why this is not working. Helps if you have the mouse in the right direction. And let's see what's happening. It's showing the player view, but it's fine, as long as you're seeing that. Before I start, I just really want to do a brief introduction and some personal comments. Before I start, pointing out the achievements of the past 3 years, these results are really the work of many individuals working together to improve our community. First, I'd like to thank all the borough's municipal employees for their service. I too was a municipal employee at one point, so I know what it feels like, and I know the stress that they go through when administrations change. But these are the people who keep things running on a day-to-day basis, from year to year, and from administration to administration. I'd like to give also special thanks to our police department, fire department, and EMS staff who keep us safe, and we can count on them to be there when we need them. So, thanks to them also. We're also fortunate to have experienced department heads, such as Chief Scott, Billy Musto, Lorraine Carafa, Marshall Boxer, Barry Trogu, and Dave Hallman. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize, but you can whisper it and tell me before I finish. I also have to give a special thanks to our municipal clerk, April Claudio. April does multiple jobs, from clerk to planning board and zoning board secretary. She's there to oversee and prepare for our elections. She responds to Oprah requests, which I'll probably be starting soon after I leave. But she has a wealth of knowledge and knows a lot about the borough's history. And the thing that I think makes her most special is that she is nonpartisan in the true sense of the word, meaning she's impartial, unbiased, and fair. And I want to thank you for your help. Finally, looking back, I realized that I actually did have a management team. We never called it that, but it always seemed like we were together trying to solve the problems. And there are 3 people I would like to just talk about briefly. The first is Jim Morris, our borough engineer. And almost from day one, Jim has been part of my unofficial team. He was invaluable in dealing with the DEP and our problems at the beach with the bathroom trailers, the Horizon 5G pole issues, all of our redevelopment projects, the marina improvements, and all the grant compliance. Many of you might not know, but getting a grant is great, but there's a lot of work involved to get it first to apply, and then when you get it, follow the rules so that you ultimately get the money that you want. And like I said, I can go on, but I've always found Jim to be accessible, competent. He provides good advice, and he, like all of us, work to improve the borough. So thanks a lot, Jim. The second one is our borough attorney, George McGill. I believe having a local attorney that actually grew up in Belmar was an added benefit because, obviously he had some history about things that, went on in the past, and that helped sometimes fill in and complete the picture on certain things. And it added, was an added benefit to his legal advice, and thank you for that. The other thing I always admired about George was his ability to mediate and resolve conflicts fairly. And Lord knows we had a number of those, almost starting from day one, which don't make the headlines, but they involve people in the town. They involve 2 people having the same boat slips, stuff like that that needs to be resolved, and it needs to be resolved fairly, and I know we could always count on George to do that. He's actually convinced me on more than one occasion that my legal solution to the problem was really not the best solution. So, I thank him for that. And as I think we all know in the council, he works well with the council members. He's always made himself available to answer questions and give them advice. So I want to thank George for everything he's done. Lastly is Business Administrator Kevin Kane. And back in December 2022, we had a selection committee, and we interviewed a lot of different people for a lot of different professional positions, and our selection committee chose Kevin because of his experience in government, along with his educational achievement in earning an MPA, a Master's in Public Administration. When I met Kevin in December, I knew initially that he was the right choice for Belmar. Most of the things that we have accomplished that you're going to see in the next few minutes, Kevin was a part of. He's dedicated, as I was, in doing what was the best for Belmar. He got things done by bringing people together to resolve problems, work on projects, handle conflicts, and all with a positive attitude. In my opinion, he's the best administrator we've had in Belmar in many years, and I'm indebted to him for his service and friendship. So I was lucky to have this team, and interestingly enough, it was a group of individuals who did not know each other since before 2023, and we had never worked together, and who by chance had the same outlook and philosophy on how good government works, who had no personal agendas and believed in fairness, integrity, and doing what was best for Belmar and its residents. So thanks to all of you. We did a great job. And now on to the show. Okay, the first big issue that we had to deal with, obviously, was the affordable housing, and this, I feel, is a major achievement of the administration. We were able to do in 3 years what 2 administrations failed to do over 10 years. And we were up against the deadline, and anyone who says that, we did not have to do it the way we did it is just plain wrong. And, after I leave the mayor's position, I would be happy to debate or talk to anyone on this issue, because I know we did what we needed to do, and we did it the right way. Everything I'm going to be presenting here tonight this is just an overview. This was all presented in detail in the past. We had 3, 4 public meetings here with our redevelopment attorneys explaining the whole process of what the town had to go through in order to get the approval, the judicial approval for the 3rd and 4th rounds, which we did get. So, I'm very happy of that. The thing that was the problem was we were without a plan. We were hoping to build the remedy suits, and also without a plan, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund could not be funded. So that meant that all of the building that occurred while we did not have that trust fund, we lost all of those fees. Those fees did not go into the trust fund. So, my estimation was hundreds of thousands of dollars because of that. So, a lot of people didn't know that there were pre-existing projects on the board, and they were waiting to start in 2023, okay? So that's why it was critical, for us to file this DJ, or declaratory judgment action. So we wanted to get it in before we could, before they could file a builder's remedy suit. And it wasn't surprising that they intervened in our DJ action. The projects, as you see on the board here, were the Mark-Built project, which is the one that's going to be across the street here and next to Klein's. Initially, that project was going to be built with 131 units and 0 affordable housing units. The Ripetti Russo development, you may have heard of the Mediterranean project, that's what it was called. It has had many names, but that was the first one. Located at Route 35 between 8th and 10th Avenues, that included 250 units and 0 affordable housing units. The Sackman project, located at 708, 710 Main, that was 45 units with 0 affordable housing. And then the 613 10th Avenue was 12 units with 0 affordable housing units. Okay. These developments are ready to be built. And those were the figures on what was going to be there. And in doing preparation for this, I came across this. I don't know. I might have done this on the spreadsheet, but I looked at those numbers, and you can see here, again, the same 4 projects. Before they got into affordable housing, the total units of those 4 projects was 438 units with 0 affordable units. The final count, and let me just make a point, the final count, including the affordable housing, was 405 units. Okay, so the unit count went down by 33 units, and we actually added 56 affordable housing units. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good record for us. And actually, you'll see under that there were three developments: 500 Main, 800 Main, and 10th Avenue Associates, that had, let's say, in name only, affordable units, which totaled 12. Those units were not what we call deed restricted, and they weren't rented according to the affordable housing regulations. And we wanted to count those units towards the number that we had to reach. So we had to convince the Fair Share Housing Center that we would, we would take action to get those 12 units back into the, so to say, the fold, so that they would be deed restricted and would be filled according to the affordable housing law. And I believe, and I'm going to ask April to just confirm, I believe we already have a lottery on 3 units in the 10th Avenue Associates.
Yeah.
So 3 of those 6 units that were vacant are now being processed through the affordable housing system, so that someone will be able to get that unit, that apartment, which they probably wouldn't have gotten before. I think there was one other one too. Was there another one?
Yeah, there was 3 units. I don't remember the divide, but then there's another lottery next week for 2 more units.
Okay, so in a short time now, we're going to offer to people who need housing, housing in 10th Avenue Associates. So we're up to like 5. And we were lucky that Fair Share Housing allowed us to count those units. So you can see, we got the 56 units, we got the 12 units, and then because they're all rentals, this is the way the law works. We got a credit for 23 units, so we reached our number of 91 units for the 3rd round. Now that's a big deal to have done that. As we were doing this, though, I kind of requested that the redevelopment attorneys take a look at some of the existing redevelopment agreements, and this is what they found. They found that we had 3 developments that were having pilots, but when the attorneys looked at the pilots, they realized that they were not following the actual pilot law. Right? So we had to go back and basically say to them, you're not getting a pilot, you're not getting a tax exemption, because, you know, it's not in accordance with the law. So, again, you'll see we resolved the first two with Eastport and Newman Ventures, just eliminating their tax exemption. And the third one, Satcham Pond, was, as they said, it was almost complete, so we were able to include in the project that he's not eligible for a tax exemption or pilot in his certificate of completion. The other thing we discovered recently, and I'm not going to belabor this, but there are some units, some developments that had not been giving us the correct amounts of pilot payments. And, you know, it's currently subject to a lawsuit, and settlement negotiations are in progress, but that, in general, is being resolved in the favor of the borough. And as I said before, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, when I came in, was at $0. Right now, the current balance is approximately $1.3 million. And that's because the development on Route 35, it's called Vermella now, but it's the Russo-Rapetti development. As part of their approval, they had to give $2 million into the fund, but $1 million is being put in now, and then I believe at the end of the construction, then there will be another $1 million put into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Moving on to infrastructure improvements. I know you can't really see this map too well, but what you have here is we realized, and Jim Morris, you know, thought it was a great idea we needed a complete road and utility inventory. And, you know, working with Billy Musto and our people in the water utility, he actually completed that inventory and placed it on a map with all kinds of nice colors and grids and whatever. And when you look at it closely, you'll see in the legend that there are kind of priorities laid out in the map. So, you know, it was very essential that this was done. And as I said, it's on the website if you want to take a look at it. And obviously, these things are subject to review, subject to change. But, you know, we kind of now know, you know, the condition of our streets and the condition of the water and the sewer lines beneath them. And this will play into the plan on how we move forward in you know, making improvements. We can't do everything at once, so we kind of have to plan years out to do the things that we need to do for our water utilities and our streets. We got a lot of projects done in 3 years, and you know, these are just some of them that have been completed. I'm not going to go through them all. You can read them all. The one that says the beach and dune maintenance permit modification, that you'll see that's related to the DEP issue that we had when we first came in. And I guess I'll jump a little bit and I'll say, you know, we were under a CAFR permit that required that we remove the beach trailers. Okay? And so ultimately, and I don't want to jump ahead, but you know, that's part of our solution to that problem. We had to do a permit modification. In 24, you know, we replaced the doors, and I didn't know exactly what that meant, but that's the doors that were facing the ocean. All those doors that used to leak were replaced with windows. And at the same time, we created a year-round bathroom by making the concession area smaller. There were upgrades to the marina, which were needed badly. The Silver Lake gazebo, unfortunately, you know, was to the point where if you got a strong wind, it was going to blow off its foundation. So that needed to be reconstructed. And of course, the piano at Piano Plaza, which you know, was a great project in conjunction with the Belmar Arts Council. And I think you may remember it was last May that we had David Sanchez here to play and honor his mother, who taught him how to play the piano, and they lived in Belmar at the time. Same thing for 2025. You know, the big project was the fuel dock and piling replacement project. The fuel dock was on its way out. Unfortunately, we had to spend money in 2023 to make emergency repairs to keep it afloat. But finally, we were able to fix it, and that was a big deal because the marina is a revenue-producing part of the borough, and you want to make sure that, you know, people can come in and get their boats fueled and want to, you know, fill up the slips that we have, and I don't think we ever have any problem in filling that up. Other things that you might not realize happened, the library, they replaced the windows in the front, which was a kind of big job because they replaced them with windows that looked exactly like the ones that they took out. And the exterior was repainted recently and the front door was replaced. And as we speak, the basketball reconstruction is I think on schedule. I think the only thing that we're waiting for are the lights and the bleachers, but you know, that has also been done. There are a few things that have been done this year in 2026. I just highlighted them. Main Street, 5th Avenue Main Street to C Street, and the 8th Avenue Sewer Line project. I just want to make the point again to people that I was not involved in picking the 5th Avenue. that was done from the prior administration when they applied for the grant, so it had nothing to do with me. And I would actually think if it was, it would have been another street that would have been done, not my street. And some other things that are on schedule. And you see, you know, a lot of it is planning. You have to plan it out because a lot of these projects are being funded partly by grants. And you know, and grants, you know, take time, and you have to kind of like push out into the future to get things done. And these are the grants that we received. This is just page one. Obviously, I'm not going to go through them all, but we received more than $7 million worth of grants, which I think is outstanding. I will point out, because I know someone will go through this, and they'll look at the first line here, and they'll say, oh, that first one was for the Belmar Housing Authority. And yes, it was, but I think we need to take credit for that, because I know Councilwoman Rondinero worked very hard with them. So, you know, this is phenomenal, and this is what permitted us to do many of the projects that we have on tap. So, and there were other significant events that occurred. I'm not going to go through all of them, but on the DEP issue, you know, it was clear to us when we came in that the DEP did not regard us here in Belmar with very high regard, because there were issues with the borough and the DEP, and I'm not saying that the borough was wrong or right, but it got to the point where the borough was filing a request for an administrative hearing. So, you know, they were not very friendly to us initially. But through Jim Morris, we were able to kind of make inroads with the DEP, and we got to the point where we, well, first of all, we never removed the trailers, because that was in the DEP permit that we got. That was definitely something they wanted. You can see up here there were three things. The permit required that we, within 6 months, permanently remove all 6 bathroom trailers. Okay, so that was in May. So they're looking at 6 months from May through the summer. Right? That was not going to happen. In fact, I remember sending them a letter in April saying, with all due respect, we're going to try to help and work with you as much as possible. But we're not going to have summer without bathroom trailers on the beach. So fortunately, they didn't do anything to us. And then the second condition was within 45 days, they wanted the locations of all sanitary sewer lines located on the beach. And within 6 months, remove or cap all sanitary sewer lines. And obviously, these are the lines that go to the bathrooms. They did not want us to have sewer lines on the beach, so we would have to remove those too. And then within 45 days, submit a plan depicting all the water line service routes. And again, this was related to the bathrooms on the beach. All right. Now, we were very fortunate because through Jim Morris, we were able to get them to listen to us in terms of coming up with a compromise. Because in talking amongst ourselves, I had mentioned that, I knew that there were structures on the boardwalk in the past. Once Jim heard that, he was like, well, let's see if we can find out, where they were, because the plan was if we could identify them, we might be able to get the DEP to say, well, since they were existing and they predated CAFRA, they're not going to fall under the regulations. And that's exactly what happened. We were able to, there were structures on 5th, 8th, 11th, 16th, and 19th Avenues. And they pretty much agreed if we could prove they existed, they may exempt them from the requirements of the CAFRA permit. Of course, unfortunately, as we all know, 3rd Avenue never had a structure on it. So that's why the 3rd Avenue bathroom had to be removed. But we were able to prove the existence of the 5 or 6 sites, and ultimately they approved our modification request. And that was pretty significant. Just to go back, well, the thing that was interesting with that too is when you read the final CAFRA permit, it refers to 3 trailers that are approved, and that's because they saw us taking positive action to put permanent bathrooms on the boardwalk. So the fact that we put a permanent bathroom on 5th Avenue really, I think, helped us persuade them to exempt the other 3, and the permanent bathroom on 16th Avenue. I think it all worked well because they saw that we were trying to eliminate the bathrooms as much as we could, and we were able to prove that there were existing structures. So we now have a modified CAFRA permit, and to show you how much time it took, I think we finally got the last one was December 25th, 2025, when they finally sent it. And it expires in May of 2027. So we're good until 2027. So that's the story of the DEP and the bathroom trailers. Other things that have happened, and I'm not going to go through all of these because there are plenty of for the 5G poles. I think we all know we were surprised. I know the borough administrator was surprised when he got the call that they wanted to know what color the poles should be. And they're putting them up, and that started this whole process of reaching out to Verizon, finding out what happened, finding out that we had a consent judgment against us, which said that the 20 poles were going to be put up on Ocean Avenue in the right-of-way, right in front of the boardwalk. In looking at the law and what they had given us in terms of the consent judgment, it looked at first that it was pretty bleak in terms of trying to stop them. Fortunately, a closer look at that consent order, we found that they had something appended to it. It was a right-of-way from the county, and they said, well, we're doing this because based on this right-of-way that we have with the county. But when you looked at the right-of-way, though, the right-of-way had nothing to do with Belmar. So that was the first problem. The second problem was we didn't own the right-of-way. So when we got the request for a CAFRA permit, our borough council sent it back to them and said, we can't sign it because we don't own it. So a lot of things happened. Eventually the county got involved, We got, through the efforts of Councilwoman Kinney and Councilman Donovan, the grassroots movement started. There were many things done. There were meetings that other municipalities got involved and other individuals got involved. Lawsuits, more lawsuits were filed in the federal court, and I think for the most part that's where it remains. But the polls are not there, and their reasons for needing the polls back in 2020 when they started with this obviously has disappeared, because I don't know of any complaints from anyone being on the beach that they can't use their phones or whatever. Even though the other day I did try to go on YouTube and I had a problem trying to get on, and I said, well, I should be on my phone. But so that was the 5G issue. And again, there are documents on the website, the complaint, the consent order, and a couple of other ordinances and things that were passed that we had to replace to get us all in line with our small cell service. EMS was another issue. At the end of the contract, two of the municipalities that were with us, Seabird and Masswan, pulled out, saying they weren't going to renew, leaving us in Lake Como. And it was, we again had presentations. It seemed clear to the council that we did not want to move to the county. EMS and Rob DeMartin worked, tirelessly, working the numbers with Kevin Kane, and basically through their efforts, we were able to keep the Belmar Lake Como EMS funded with and not have to move to the county system. The next thing, obviously, most recently, the 1200 Main Street contamination removal. We have a new LSRP who's looked at the situation. There was just 2 or 3 meetings ago a presentation. There are more areas that need to be. Thank you. There are more areas that need to be checked out, and we have a plan. They have a plan to remediate that. And hopefully, after the remediation, we will have a piece of property that is uncontaminated and ready to be used or sold or whatever. But that's a decision up to future councils and the public to do that. Some of the good things, positive things that I thought of were, obviously, we moved the Seafood Festival back to Silver Lake. For our Councilwoman Rondinero started a program for veterans and high school graduate banners. We finally issued free season badges for veterans. Prior to this, they would have to go every day, a daily badge, and actually this year they have a special badge. It's not just a regular badge, it's just a badge that says, for veterans. So I think that was a good move. We just recently had the AVP volleyball. We're very happy coming to Belmar. They love it here, and I think we're going to see them again in the future. And a little thing, but a big thing, we said we needed to use the Taylor Pavilion for the residents, and I think we opened it up. We worked with the library, because they have so many events, and recreation has so many events that sometimes took place in the gym, and I think the whole fact that we utilized the Taylor Pavilion for the public is an important thing, and I hope that continues in the future. And finally, we're at final comments. And again, I want to thank also all the volunteers that give up their time to sit on the various boards, commissions, and committees. There are a lot of them, and it's it's something that requires a commitment. I know I sat on the planning board, and the library board, and it's rewarding. But as we all know, sometimes it's like, oh, I gotta go to the meeting tonight, it's like. But they do it, and they do it willingly, I think they deserve, a lot of thanks. I want to also call out, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I know I see Diane here. The Environmental Commission has done an outstanding job this year. And I think we created an atmosphere within the borough that I think encourages committees to kind of do things on their own, and I hope we did enough for that. I'm sure we weren't perfect, but that's the whole idea of having these committees and commissions. I'd also like to thank, obviously, all the residents who initially chose me as the mayor and have supported me through the last 3.5 years, even though I was very grateful when I came out on the bench and I only saw like 10 people in the audience. I said, that's great. I know we're on a good trend here. And lastly, I need to thank my wife, Marlene, who's sitting here. She's my advisor, confidant, and therapist. And it's only because of her and her ever-positive outlook that I'm still sitting here today. So, I just want to say I'm honored. I was honored to be your mayor. It's not something I expected. I'm glad I got the chance to do it. Let's go on with the meeting and get out of here.
We did that on.
Yeah. They gave me a chair, a broken chair. That's an omen. Careful. They got these new chairs like 2 meetings ago. Let's move on to the public session for the consent agenda.
If anyone has a comment or question about a resolution on the agenda, please step forward and remember to state your name and address. All right,
Linda Sharkus, 4th Avenue. Could you explain to me where the reduction in the cost of the 16th Avenue bathroom is coming from? I guess I saw it was a price reduction.
Yeah, there's a resolution on saying there's a price reduction. I'm gonna have to punt to Jim, if you know, was it
So, Mr. Mayor, the change order has several, there's some additions and some subtractions from the contract, resulting in a net change order for change order 1. So it basically is changes that were made. We worked with Public Works. For example, there was a flooring change. There were some door changes. There were changes made that improved the project, but actually reduced the cost. Hope that helps.
Well, it's kind of scary because I know with the Taylor Pavilion, when they changed the doors, that was not a good thing. So I hope you have better luck with those when it's completed.
Well, I think it's not unusual for these types of things to occur, and I don't think it would be reasonable to think that changes result in a less, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not often that the price goes down.
So,
I guess that's my point.
I'd like to point out, I believe the due reduction means that we've used, so we had a $100,000 allowance or contingency in the project. Does that mean we used, what's the reduction, $8,000, something like that? Does that mean we used $92,000 worth of the overages without increasing the contract and giving back 8?
Some of the allowance was used for the change in the piling, because that was deemed to be an unforeseen condition due to the soil conditions changing. But I believe the change order that you have now, forgive me because I don't have the numbers memorized, but correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, we made some changes to the flooring, to the walls, and doors, which ultimately, like for example, I think the hardware that was specified was somewhat of a specialty item. We worked with Public Works to select a hardware system that was much more economical. So there was many things that we've looked at. The architect came out with a set of plans and specifications, but during the process of going through and looking at options, and the builder's done a really good job with that, could tell as he's going through and building the project and submitting in his shop drawings for review, we're working with Public Works and the architect to identify if we can make some changes that could save the borough money, but still deliver the product that the borough wants. Billy, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to add about the changes?
Pretty much nailed it,
Yeah, I think a big portion of it, and I do have it in front of me now, because I did request it, and it was like, instead of floor tile, they used epoxy flooring, which is gonna be more durable and long-lasting with the sand. Instead of wall tile, they used FRP wall paneling, which is what we use in commercial kitchens, and it's significantly less expensive than tile. So it's actually more durable and a better product for something like this. So that was almost, there was an $86,000 reduction in the floor and wall tile, just in those two, and then there were a couple of increases outside of that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Kramer?
Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue. I just have a quick question on, resolution 2026-138. This is extending a conditional redeveloper for 701, 7th Avenue Incorporated. My question there is just basic. Is there any commercial development involved with this proposal?
I believe this is
Or is it 100%?
project. I don't think there's any commercial involved in that. No,
There's no commercial?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay.
Can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I have a motion to amend the consent agenda to remove resolution 2026-136, so it can be voted on separately? Motion.
Second?
Okay, Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroni?
Yes.
Mayor Bonfasco?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the resolutions on the consent agenda as amended?
Motion.
Second?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroni?
Abstain? I'm sorry. Yes.
Mayor Bonfasco?
Yes.
Okay, next is, can I have a motion to approve resolution 2026-136?
Motion?
Second?
Okay, Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroni?
Abstain.
Mayor Bonfasco?
Yes.
Okay, next we're on to ordinances. The first one is ordinance 2026-11. This is an ordinance amending chapter 25, uniform construction code fees. This is open for public comment. If anyone would like to speak on this ordinance, please step forward and state your name and address. Okay, can I have a motion to close the public session, or the public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-11?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Abstain?
Councilman Maroney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco.
Yes.
Next is first reading and introduction on ordinance 2023. This is a bond ordinance providing for the 6th Avenue Sewer Replacement Project, appropriating $720,000 and authorizing the issuance of bonds in the amount of $720,000. Do we have a motion to offer for first reading?
Motion. Second?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco.
Yes.
And next one is ordinance 2026-14, an ordinance amending sections of chapter 29, Water Sewer Utility Department. Do we have a motion to offer for first reading?
Motion.
Second?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco.
Yes.
Now we're on to the regular public session. If anyone would like to speak, please step forward and remember to state your name and address first.
Linda Sharkus again, Wolf Avenue. I have two questions, and one is about the piano in the plaza. How does it work? I thought it was supposed to be available to play at any time. Has anybody,
I believe that's the way it works.
has anybody heard music from it, from somebody sitting
It
at?
does have hours.
Yes.
So if you, what are the operating hours, 10 to 9?
I've seen people sitting at it.
I haven't seen that yet. And my second question is with $7 million in grants, how many of those have been completed? And then how many have been abandoned because we didn't have matching funds to get them within the time frame? It's a lot of grants.
I don't recall any of them not being utilized. Without going.
Some are still queued up.
Right.
For future use.
Yeah, some of those grants are moving forward, but to my knowledge, I don't think we've, using your term, abandoned any of the grants.
Well, they expire because you don't get the match.
I'm not
You
sure.
can't do
I'm
the
not sure.
project.
We'd have to get back to you on that, but I don't recall off the top of my head.
So I'm kind of curious, that's, if we need to find money to complete the match, because it's important for the town to, look at a way to do that.
Yeah, no, we generally find, have the money to do
Find
the
money,
match.
that's what
Yeah,
we gotta make sure we find all the money we need.
we do, we
Okay.
do. Or else we don't apply for the grant. I mean, we know ahead of time how much the match is gonna be, so we're not gonna apply for something if we know we don't have the money to do the match. It's just common sense.
I know, but transparency, I'd like to see where it's coming from and on these grants as we're moving forward.
What would you like to see exactly?
Well, I was surprised to hear we have $7 million worth of grants, so.
Well, they're there. You can,
Oh, right.
you can just, I'll ask people to put this up on the website and you can look at them and,
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that was fun. This reminds me of your first meeting, Mr. Mayor. Hi, I'm John Walsh, 1101 B Street.
Did you say your name again? I didn't do that.
John Walsh, 1101B. Go ahead.
And Maria Rontanaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way.
First of all, happy 4th of July and happy America 250 to the Mayor and Council. I'm here as the Belmar Democratic Chair, and I just have a little thing we'd like to present to you. This is supposed to be a wooden plaque, but it's not in, so just forgive us.
It's coming tomorrow.
It's coming tomorrow, right on time. You know how this works. But Mayor Buckafusco, on behalf of the Belmar Democratic Committee and many of your supporters who are here tonight, I'd like to thank you for your years of service to the Borough of Belmar. Belmar Public service is often a thankless job, but tonight we want to recognize your impact you've had on this town and present you with a small token of appreciation. As many of you know, I've had the privilege of working as the mayor's assistant for 2 years, and we did a lot, especially my first week when I got COVID-19, and probably most of you know that because it was Oprah requested almost immediately, my sick time. So you can imagine it was a great time working here. But during that time, I got to see firsthand how much thought and effort and care went into decisions, and we helped turn the tide. From memorializing the lives lost during the COVID-19 memorial at the pandemic down on 3rd Avenue with Rami's Hearts, to transforming Taylor Pavilion, like you mentioned, to a true community center. It's now regularly used, and library events and community gatherings, and projects that continue to benefit residents for years to come. I've also remember working with Margaret on my last day here, creating an easier access for veterans through the Veterans Badge Program, which you mentioned. I was even late to my farewell party because we were rewriting the former policy, creating a new one, and I'm so glad to hear that there are dedicated badges with little red, white, and blue for this year's 4th of July. Those moments are not always made with headlines, but they're good ones and important ones, and we did that here. We made a difference in people's lives. I'm proud to be a small part of that, and Mayor, we thank you for your leadership, friendship, and dedication to Belmar. We wish you good health, happiness, and nothing but the best in years to come. And this is for you, and of course the First Lady of Belmar. If you don't mind me, do a nice little round of applause for that. Thank you, guys.
Jerry, we've been through the mill together, and this has been a real team effort. This is a very difficult job, and we are very proud to have served by you.
I have to say it's their fault that I'm here, because they begged me after my I ran for office 3 times. So, you know, if nothing else, I am persistent. But I need to thank the both of them because they really, they worked their tails off to get me elected. And I thank
you. Good evening, Sharon Russell, 11th Avenue. On behalf of the Belmar Library Board of Trustees, we would like to extend our true gratitude for the endless hours with conversations our mayor, Jerry Buckafusco, has contributed to the many successes of our library. His deep interest in the happenings of the library have enabled us to have the opportunity to attend to the needs of our community. It should be noted that he was instrumental in the continuance of our outdoor summer concert, which so many residents look forward to attending and continue to enjoy. We wish him well in his next chapter, and we'll have an open door anytime he'd like to return and offer some words of wisdom to our board. Thanks for caring about our library. We send you the best wishes from the Belmar Library Trustees.
And actually, for anyone, you know, in the future, if there's an opening on the library board and they're looking for somebody to appoint, you know, I could be available.
Mayor, 18th and B, I have 3 things.
First off, Councilman de Blasio, July 21st is the next Harbor Commission meeting, right after your planning meeting on the 20th. Councilwoman Donovan, I read the article in the Coast Star. Congratulations on all the work that you did, working with the Environmental Committee to get Silver Lake the way it is. Okay? And last but not least, Mayor Buckafusco, I wish you the best of luck, health, happiness, and joy. But you didn't put me on a timer tonight. So now, the timer is going on you. It's going to Marlene, and you gotta finish within 5 minutes, anything she wants.
You know, the timer works both ways. Mr. Dilberger.
Marlene, but you got possession of it.
I'm the Rumpelstiltskin here. Tom Dilberger, 1000 River Road. I'm here to talk about, once again, gentlemen, you weren't here for this last one a year ago, where you unauthorized raising of the pride flag. But first, I'd like to give you some literature. I Googled, I actually did it on a computer by myself and everything. And I was able to come up with some interesting stuff. As usual, I'm not talking about the idea of homosexuals. I've known homosexuals. I knew one that was really a great man, outstanding man. I'm proud to have known him.
Before you continue, I just want to let you know, I'm timing you. It started at 7:40, and we'll be finished at 7:45.
But as usual, I'm not here about that. I'm not here about your unauthorized raising the flag. And also the idea of this LGBTQ.
I'm going to ask you very gently, could you go back to the microphone,
Yes,
please?
of course,
Thank
I
you.
can do it.
Thank you.
There's two there.
Thanks.
Now, the idea here that I'm talking about is the plus on the end of it. The plus is what I'm concerned with. What does that mean? It means anything goes.
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking full of bags of stocking.
The papers you have in front of you. That means pedophilia is all right, correct?
No.
It's pan, right?
No.
No. Bestiality is not good?
No.
That's not what that means.
Necrophilia? Now, we have a funeral parlor here. You could request a couple of cadavers, and maybe you can put that on demonstration. Maybe in Piano Plaza, and somebody could play the piano and everything. What are you gonna do about that? I asked you last year to put it on the ballot. But you wouldn't even do that. You have no respect for the people, or you're fearful of the people. It's one of the two. Which is it, Mr. Mayor? Oh, you're not gonna answer. Counselor, would you have the defendant answer the question?
All comments have to be referred to me.
Yeah. You make up your rules as you go along, don't you? But what are you gonna do about this? For instance, you talk here about education and everything. Are you gonna bring one of these pedophiles down to the school and have them demonstrate on one of the boys and girls in there? Is that your idea? You're talking about education. Huh?
You ignorant
You're not-
bastard, shut up.
Oh, hold on. No comments, please.
Ignorant.
Oh, he's got his 5 minutes.
I got no argument with that.
Got 2 minutes and 29 seconds left, so continue.
Yeah. All right, what about that statement, Mr. Mayor? What about it?
I've only done this, I think, one other time since I've been mayor, and I'm just gonna tell you right now, I am not answering any of your questions.
See that?
This is a comment section
You're
only.
fearful of the people, that's what you are. Says here, with the plus, it means they want to be inclusive. And that means everything. It's pansexual. That's what I'm arguing about here. You want to let pedophiles, necrophilia, and bestiality go. Maybe you could put it on the seafood festival, huh? You could have a tent set up for that. Next year, let's put it on the ballot.
Okay, your time is up.
My time is up.
Please, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Mayor,
Any other person?
I got one other thing.
Your time is up. Your
May
time
you
is
have
up.
an interesting life.
Anyone else?
Oh, I mean that in the Oriental sense.
Yeah, Neil Scheck of 4th Avenue. Just to end on an upbeat note, I would like to thank the mayor one more time for all those wonderful garbage cans that you had installed around Silver Lake. It has greatly improved my life and my little dog Tiki's life, and we're really enjoying the lake and the park much more. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Just a quick comment on that. I walked the same trail, and some of those barrels are not lasting as long as we thought they were going to last. You know, we may need to replace a few of them. Anyone else? That's it.
Kane would like to say
Oh,
something.
go ahead.
Just real quick, because I hate to do this at the end, but I just want to personally thank you for this opportunity to be part of your administration, Mayor. Over the past 3.5 years, it's been an honor to serve with you, council members, for the residents of Belmar, and proud of the accomplishments. And my wife Ellen and I will cherish our friendship with you and Marlene forever. So I just want to say thank you. Really appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Right.
No one. Going once. Going twice. April.
Can I have a motion to close the public session?
Yes, I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor? And we have one more item. We have a resolution to adjourn into executive session.
Motion.
Oh, I gotta read it first. I'm excited there. Whereas it has been determined by the Borough Council that it is necessary to discuss the following specific matter at its regular meeting in the absence of the public: attorney-client privilege matters, contract negotiations, and pending and potential litigation. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the Borough Council to exclude the public from that portion of a public meeting during which such matters are discussed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Borough Council shall recess into a private executive session from which the public shall be excluded, that the scope of the executive session shall be limited to the matters as stated, and that those matters discussed in executive session shall remain confidential until such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists, and that minutes of the closed session shall be taken and kept free from public review until such time that the need for confidentiality no longer exists, and that the regular meeting of the Borough Council shall resume after the executive session, at which time the Borough Council may take action in reference to the topics discussed. Do we have a motion to adopt this resolution?
Motion. Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Councilman DeLazio?
Yes.
Councilman Maroney?
Yes.
Mayor Bucklepesco?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I just want to put on the record, I will not be attending the executive session, since I'm going to assist my wife in leaving the council chambers.
All right, we're back in public session. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Was that George I just heard?